Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Meagan Mermaid, and I'm so excited to be here today. I am starting a new series. I'm actually starting a lot of new series, but one of them is like a weekly Starseed message. So I'm going to be hopping on live, usually on Thursdays or Fridays, depending on my schedule, to answer questions, to do meditations, to really just dive into some of the topics that we're going through as a collective so that you know you're not alone and so that you can receive the guidance and support that you deserve. For those of you who are new to my work, my name is Meagan Mermaid, and I'm a galactic guide and channel for galactic consciousness. And my role is supporting star beings in activating their creative genius, connecting with their divine purpose, and receiving the support that they deserve from their star families. So today I was sitting in meditation and I was trying to figure out, hi, Marlon, good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to those who are joining live. I'm so happy to have you here. This is so exciting for us all to be together. Okay, so I was in meditation today trying to figure out like what does the collective need to talk about? What do we need to know? And I had an interesting interaction with a family member today, and I really felt like they were projecting onto me, and I could feel like the anger and the emotion, and it was really deep because I felt like they weren't even really mad about the thing that they were mad about. I felt like it had to do with all this ancestral stuff and it had to do with success. And, as starseeds and empaths or whatever you want to call yourself, we can read between the lines about why something is happening and we can take ourselves out of it. But when we're in it and when our human is experiencing it, it's not always easy. So today's topic is about how do you deal with difficult people? Because one of the things that happens as a star seed is that you are starting to wake up. You're starting to discover why you're here. You're starting to be able to hold and anchor in higher levels of light, which is information. And you are a way shower for other people. So being a way shower doesn't mean that you have to fix others or you have to tell everybody to jump on the same bandwagon as you. Spirituality is going to look different for all of us. So we have to offer everyone else that space to do their own exploration and to come to things at their own time. It's also important to recognize not everybody's going to wake up at the same time. So, that can present a challenge. And the reason for that, especially when you first start waking up and you're so excited and you're like, I just want to tell everyone, why can't everyone know that we can be free and we can be sovereign and we can wake up out of this matrix and we can create our own reality? Like, doesn't that seem like such good news? Like, shouldn't we just tell everyone? But we have to understand that everything is happening in divine timing. So, what that means is that certain people are going to have to go through their own exploration. They're going to have to go, excuse me, they're going to have to go through their own journeys. And so, the thing with people that are close to us, especially family members, is they're not going to be waking up at the same time as you. And so, what'll happen is we have to get to a space and an understanding of accepting all of the emotions that go along with being one of the only people that are operating at this level of consciousness, at least for now. And that's what's great about technology, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, where we can connect and have this community with other star seeds so that we know that we're not doing it all by ourselves. But what happens when we're still working a very human three-dimensional job, or we live with family or we interact with family and they're not seeing things the way that they are, or they're putting us down? Or what happens, if your partner or someone that you're in relationship with is not vibrating at this level of consciousness? What do you do? So I'm going to be talking about some helpful tips that you can use when interacting with people, especially when people are coming at you from a place of like triggering or projection. So, one of the most important things that will always be a superpower is non reaction. So, basically, whenever you react to something in your external world, number one, you're fueling and you're putting fire into it. And number two, you're sort of giving the go to the universe. We live in a law of attraction universe. So, whatever we react to, it's kind of like we're saying, hey, I want more of that. And we don't want more of that, right? And then we have to remember that Earth is a school. So we're going to continue to learn the same types of lessons until we perfect them. So it doesn't make us wrong. It just means that we have a lot of learning to do. Okay, so let's say that you are having an interaction and somebody is yelling at you and they're saying something. The first thing that you want to do is protect yourself. Okay, so if you can't exit the place wherever you're at, wherever the situation is taking place, you can always use body language. So you can actually position your body. You can face a different way. You can walk out of the room if that's a possibility, but you want to start using your words and the power of your throat chakra. And you can practice non reaction without being mean or without being rude. But you've got to be firm and say things like, we can have this conversation when we can speak in a peaceful way. But right now, I don't feel like you're hearing me. Or, I understand that you have these emotions, or that must feel really challenging. That must feel really difficult. Right now, I'm feeling this, or advocate for yourself. I'd love to have this conversation with you. Right now, I'm feeling confused. Right now, I'm processing a lot of emotions. I need to deal with myself first, and then we can have this conversation. So, all of those sorts of tools, whatever you use, it's fine. But the overall basis of what's happening, this bigger picture, is that we need to understand that we are the first that are starting to wake up and anchor in higher levels of consciousness. This amount of consciousness and light has not been available since the fall of Atlantis. So literally, like the Earth experiments with the cataclysmic event of Atlantis, like we went down into this really, really dense space, and literally, like it hasn't been available. This type of light and consciousness has not been available on the planet since then. So we're all in uncharted territory right now, where you know we're the first wave of these individuals that are saying, yes, I am willing to hold this amount of light, this amount of energy within my body so that I can act as a lighthouse for other people. So basically, we don't have to fix anyone. We don't have to do this work for anyone. It's not possible. But when other people see us, we're giving them options. Now, how does this look in regular everyday life? What we need to understand is that if you're the person that is a messenger of this light, of this information, then the people around you are most likely not at the same level of consciousness. So, how that's going to work in real time is that we can't expect the people around here that are still in a space of healing, that are still in a space of being asleep in many aspects of their life, to meet us at this level. It's like if you're holding a certain amount of light, and the you're here to bring in light for all of these people that are like over here in the dark in many ways. You can't expect someone in the dark to meet you here and have a conscious conversation. It's just not possible for them. So, what happens, especially in our families, is that we're here to clear ancestral lines, to neutralize karma. And it's going to take a lot of self care for ourselves and a lot of compassion for other people in our lives. We can't expect people to come at the same level of consciousness that we're at, especially if we're pioneers in this frequency. So instead, what we need to do is figure out how to exit these difficult interactions with as much grace and compassion for ourselves and other people as possible, and then focus on our own self care. So, when we're focused on our own self care, we're going to go into these situations not expecting that person to act in a good way, to expect that they'll probably act out in their own projections and in their own suffering. But because we've been doing our own self care, pouring into us, we're not going to be as easily affected by it. So I'm going to pull a couple cards today from my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck. And so, if you want a copy of this deck, I am almost ready to publish them. So, make sure that you check out the link in my bio or go to meaganmermaid.com and join my mailing list. So that way, you know as soon as these decks are out. But this has been a project I've been working on for several years. And so, each of these cards has a mermaid empowerment or a message or an affirmation of wisdom in mermaid consciousness. So, since we're talking about how to deal with difficult people today, the first card that we have from my deck is freedom. And the affirmation or mermaid empowerment for this is I free myself by letting go. So that's one of the things that we need to do. We need to let go. We need to let go of trying to fix someone or expecting someone to change, especially if we're in Earth school, right? This is a school. And if you notice that you keep getting stuck, maybe you keep having the same challenging conversation with a partner or a coworker or a family member, and like you're like, why don't they just change, or why can't they see it my way? Instead, let go of trying to get them to see it your way or trying to get them to see what you have to say, because most likely they won't, and they may never change. So the more that you're trying to cling to this idea that maybe they'll hear me this time, it's it's going to keep putting energy into a place that's going to drain you and keep you in this cycle. So when you free yourself, it doesn't mean that you allow for bad behavior. Of course, you're going to have to set those boundaries. And that happens a lot when we wake up. Certain people or experiences that, we were used to or we resonated with might not resonate with us anymore. They might not be our people or the places we want to hang out in. And it's okay to have all of our feelings about that. It's okay to grieve what we're leaving behind as we get excited about what's coming. But the freedom comes when we let go, when we trust that we are God in human form and that the God force can move through us, when we recognize we are just a vessel and this force is moving us to be of service. As a star seed, we have this bigger collective mission. So when we surrender, that's where the freedom comes through. Excuse me, I still have a runny nose. It just is what it is. It's really annoying. But the next card that we have is perfect trust. So this card, the affirmation is I trust and know that it's already done. Okay. So once we let go of trying to force or fix or change a situation, and instead we surrender to the flow of spirit, the next step is this perfect trust. When we're on this path of awakening, there's no branches. It's like you're a bird with no branches, and you just realize that you have wings, and like you're falling, falling, falling. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I better fly. I better fly. And so this is sort of taking that leap of faith where, excuse me, where we learn to trust our heart and to trust excuse me, sorry. I had 3 sessions in a row and an interview, so I might not be at my best today, but I'm still showing up. So anyway, this perfect trust card is about recognizing that we're not always going to see the full path ahead. But when we trust and we take this step and then this step and then the next step, little by little, we're led to where we need to go. And the thing is, we'll have the freedom to get there when we stop trying to fix or change everyone else around us and we keep focusing back on us and we focus on our self care. Now, I want to say something about self care because this word gets thrown around a lot, and self care is so much more than like bath bombs or pedicures. That can be part of it. But self care is really learning how to parent yourself and give yourself what you need. When you give yourself what you need, whether it's just listening to your emotions, breathing, sometimes it's just having a good cry. Sometimes it is like getting your nails done or doing something that makes your human feel good. But self care is knowing that you've got you. When you've got you and you trust that you have a direct connection to source or spirit, then you're not going to be so affected by everyone else in your reality. And so you got to have that perfect trust and the freedom to let go. So the last card that we have here is worthiness. And I feel like we pulled this card last week. So the mermaid empowerment for worthiness is I'm worthy and deserving of my dreams. And I love how she's surrounded by these beautiful pearls, and these pillars kind of are representative of the pillars in Sirius B and the Temple of Sirius. And so there's all of this Sirius energy here. And when we talk about Sirius, it is a star nation that is all about excellence and achievement and, really being leaders. Okay. And that's where that word leader comes from. So when we're first stepping into this consciousness, when we're first waking up, we have to believe that we're worthy. And the way to believe that you're worthy is instead of instead of feeling like you're just one little person that's separate from everything outside of you, that's powerless, that has no control, you realize that you are a wave in an ocean of consciousness. So if the ocean of consciousness is all of God or source, and you are this wave, then just because you have a form of a wave or a form of a body, what's inside of you, what's outside of you is all the same. It's all God. And so you are looking out through your eyes, through your form, through the eyes of awareness as Meagan Mermaid or as Marlin or as anyone else, the avatar that you are representing in this particular incarnation. So by recognizing that you are God in human form, uh, any questions of worthiness go right out the door. It's no longer, am I good enough? But it's like, yes, it's like a humility of recognizing, wow, I am God. I am God having a human experience, and everyone else is God having a human experience. And they're acting out because they don't know that. They think that they're separate, they think that they're stuck. So, if you've ever heard the expression that hurt people, that's what it is people are so lost in their oh, thank you, Richard. I'm so glad to hear that. And I really appreciate your participation in our chat today. But you know, think about avatars that we still talk about, ascended masters like Jesus or the Buddha. Like if Jesus was considered an avatar, and he's still considered like someone that's deified to this day because he was so in his body, he was so in his consciousness, he was so in his awareness that he was God in a human form. Everyone else was blown out of the water and basically would worship him because they didn't have that access to it themselves. Now we're in a space now where we're moving away from this model of the guru, and we're moving out of the age of Pisces, where really sometimes the best direct connection was through another figure like Jesus. And if you still want to follow Jesus, that's awesome. Like everybody's spirituality and everybody's journey is going to look the same. Like there's no one way. And that's really what I want to share with you today, is that it's not supposed to be like everybody else. Your journey is not supposed to look like everyone else, because the reason for your journey is to be you acting as God, as a human, experiencing life, and through your awareness, collecting data, which is expanding source. So, source or God is not limited, it's not finite. We are expanding God as we are expanding our reality right now. And so, we've been stuck in this experiment for a really long time where we were learning through suffering, and that's not necessary anymore. We're moving out of this. Suffering into new earth consciousness, where now we can learn through love and through beauty and through bliss. And that's what the mermaids teach. Wow, Richard is sharing he was born in 1968, remembering the other side, remembered his whole life. Wow, that's so awesome. And I love to hear all of your stories. And I've just been so blessed to hear about like how people have woken up, or the amazing stories that they've experienced with their connections with ETs and all other sorts of things. And another thing, it might be a little off topic, is to know that even if you're dealing with difficult people and you might feel lonely or isolated, you're not crazy. You're not the only one experiencing this. But what we're experiencing right now is self mastery. And sometimes it gets easy to be in our ego, right? And think like, oh, those people are wrong and we're right, or this teaching is right, or this is what's going to happen, and this channel is false, and this person is right, and this is happening, and no, the solar flare is happening now, or no, ascension is happening, or no, they've been infiltrated, or no, we can't trust these people. And who's to even say? Who's to even say? And that's why we have to really be kind to ourselves and our ego, and understand that like there are multiple timelines that are available all of the time. And that's why my work specifically is not on world events. There's just too much that can change all at once. So there's a lot of great channels and people that talk about world events. That's not my forte. So if you're here, I'm going to teach you about shadow work. I'm going to teach you about how to get into your body, and I'm going to teach you about how to activate bliss consciousness. People ask me all the time, what do you think about this? Or I got asked a lot of people have asked if about the Galactic Federation of Light, and is it safe to trust them? And from my opinion, from my viewpoint, I have not experienced anything that would cause me to not trust the Galactic Federation of Light. Now, that doesn't mean that someone else's experience that is different is not valid. And sometimes we get way too stuck in the story. The story is supposed to get us to a place of understanding and awakening. We're supposed to find the pearl in the story. But when we get too stuck in the story, we miss it. The whole point is we're supposed to wake up and we're supposed to experience the goodness of life. That's what we're here to do. Like, we're supposed to just experience God at what is it like when you're God having a human experience? How do you worship yourself as God having a human experience? Wow. And I love what you guys are sharing, Marlon and Richard, about your encounters and that your aura is golden. Wow, that's really cool. I love that. I love hearing about all of your guys' personal experiences. Yeah, someone is sharing, it's not about trusting the galactics. We need to trust ourselves first. Love that. Yeah. And so let me tell you a little bit about my background with the Galactic Federation of Light. And what's super weird is like, I was trying to make a video yesterday in Joshua Tree about it. And like, I put my camera tripod on a tree, and then, the phone fell and my tripod broke, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not supposed to be making this video right now. But I'll tell you that you know I've been a channel for the Syrians for the last few years. And last year around November or December, Commander Ashtar, who is the head of the Galactic Federation of Light, came to me, and he asked if I would start channeling messages and information for them. And the reason for that is because there was a lot of false information. So, what I mean by that is that there were people that were saying messages in the name of the Galactic Federation of Light that were not coming from unconditional love, that were created from fear, that were created from separation. Does it mean those people are bad? Does it mean that their channel is not pure? No. But what it means is that if we have a gift or a talent or an ability, oftentimes we're going to be used in service to the higher good. And so my work with the Galactic Federation of Light is in two areas: one, education, and two, starseed relations. So when you think about um, like you as a star seed decided to come here, well, the Galactic Federation of Light is huge, and so you would meet with a representative in starseed relations, and they would support you in creating a soul contract, and then they would support you with your travel and connecting with your star family and all of that. And then my curriculum, and sorry if you can hear the lawnmower next door just decided to go, so that's awesome. But anyway, yeah, I love everything that you guys are sharing. That's so awesome, everyone. And sorry about the noise outside. But whether we have a ready nose or there's a lawnmower outside, there's really no excuse for showing up. None. And the more that we show up in our human, the more we give other people the opportunity and the gift of showing up in their imperfections. But anyway, so yes, so the Galactic Federation of Light asked me if I would create a curriculum to kind of guide star seeds in this new earth consciousness. So I first did the live journey in August, and I'm going to be releasing that as a digital course in December. Yeah, someone's sharing, everyone has an agenda, we must learn to see. Yeah, and the thing is, I love that you said this is key, because again, we have to remember that if you're God having a human experience, your experience is going to be limited because yes, you're God, but you're also in a form right now. So everybody has a key, everyone has a piece of the puzzle, but we don't all have all of the information. So when someone comes to me and they're saying, "Can you trust the Galactic Federation of Light?" I'm going to tell you that, like, yes, you can trust them for education, and you can trust them to support you in connection with your star family and everything else. Oh, is it breaking up a little bit? Sorry to hear that. But, like I said, I am not versed in world events. That's just not my forte. So, there's there's all sorts of ways that things can play out. And again, it's just stories. It's just stories. It's just stories. It's just stories. So don't get stuck in the story and don't get stuck in believing that somebody outside of you knows more. Literally, it's not possible. Everybody's perspective is necessary. And that's why I shared my video earlier about energetic sovereignty and just recognizing that you're the expert on you. And I can tell you something, I can tell you what's worked for me, or I can tell you my experience of something, but I'm telling you about the world through my eyes. I can't tell you about the world through your eyes. You've got to tell me about the world through your eyes. And if all of us are telling each other about the world through our eyes, then all this new data is going to come, all these new gifts, all these new abilities. So, I'm not saying that any teacher is wrong or that any teaching is wrong. It's really all subjective. But what I am telling you to do is number one, to practice that energetic sovereignty. And another one is to recognize that, like, we can look up to teachers or mentors and we don't have to agree with 100% of what they've said. That's another thing, too. We have to recognize that we're all humans and we're going to have human limitations. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and think like if you don't resonate with one person, you can't resonate with anything they say. And also, don't take everything that someone says, especially me, with blind faith and just accept it. You've got to filter it through your system. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys are saying some really awesome things. I love that we're all on the same page here. Okay, so what else did I want to say about that? There was one more thing. Um, yes. Okay. So here's another thing is that sometimes we do have to learn from people, especially when you're first waking up. It's almost like the duck complex, when exactly, Richard sharing, we might need to fill in the blanks. I love that. So what happens is eventually when you start to wake up, you're going to be like, wow, like this person taught me this or this person taught me this. But eventually you're going to be that person for other people. And the thing with waking up is it's like we wake up and we figure out how we've healed, what's worked for us. And then based on that and based on our interests and what we're here to do, then we are put of service like to other people. So for example, we have a starseed personal mission and a collective mission. And our collective mission is our light work. So some of our light work is just to be like lit up in our just galactic soul signature, and you could just be sitting on the couch and already alchemizing the grid. Yeah, work on our hearts. I love that. Yeah, exactly. I love that you're sharing that, Joy. Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys so much. And you know what? I just want to say too that I'm just so deeply appreciative of the chat. Like there has not been one weird or inappropriate comment. So I'm just so honoring all of you for your personal development and your work, that we can have this amazing conversation and we can come together in this high vibration, and like we can really honor each other even if we don't agree. And that's really what New Earth is about, is being in this place of like exploration and joy. Yeah, Richard's saying team light. I love that so much. And so, yeah, our heart will help with discernment. So true. Oh my gosh, you guys are saying so many things, so many good things. But okay, so yes, so the Starseed mission, we have our collective mission, which is what we're doing to help humanity, and then we have our personal mission, and sometimes those two things will interface with each other. So I'll give you an example of a collective light worker mission that I do. So in addition to my business and the content that I create, I'm also a group fitness instructor. So I teach Zumba and Bodyworks, which is like a weightlifting class, and the reason I do this is twofold. First, it's very important for starseeds to get into our body and to become grounded and present. A lot of starseeds live up here because it feels more comfortable, but we're not going to be powerful and we're not going to change anything unless we get into our get into our bodies. Don't do it through pain though. And the other reason for this is Hathor. And like, if you guys want to learn about Hathor, one book that I recommend is by Kaya Ra, and it's called The Sophia Code. And so she works with a lot of different ascended masters, and she teaches about what's called Sophia Christ consciousness and how to activate Sophia Christ consciousness within us. So there's a whole chapter about Hathor, but Hathor is Assyrian. She was also connected to Egypt. And what they would do do in Egypt to Sirius is let's see, link the book. Okay, so it's called the Sophia Code. I'll just put it in the chat. Um, you guys can find it on Amazon. So yes. Anyway, yeah. So basically, the Hathors were a group of beings, these really high frequency beings, and they would open stargates through collective singing and dancing. Like they would all be moving together, and the sound frequencies would open stargates. So eventually, the all of the Hathors ascended from Egypt into Sirius, but many of us are actually part of the Hathors right now, and we're embodied Hathors that are coming out doing our work. So if you are connected to Sirius, if you love singing, if you love dancing, if you love creating, hi PJ, good to see you. Welcome. You could be connected to the Hathor Star Nation. But anyway, so how does this work in my light work? I teach Zumba, which is a group fitness dance modality, because when we're all dancing together, it's clearing energy, it's clearing the light grid. So I help people get into their bodies, and the dance is actually light work. But it's like I don't get paid a ton for it. I don't do it for the money. That's my light work. It's like I'm showing up and I'm helping people get into their bodies and move their bodies and doing the light work for the grid. But it's something that I love doing. You as a starseed are never going to be told to like work a job or do something that you don't love, that doesn't naturally light you up, because that wouldn't be activating your galactic soul signature, would it? And I'm sorry, that thing is like so loud. I'm like, really out of all the times in the day. I should have called this how to deal with difficult people and annoying noises. But anyway, there's no excuses in leadership. We show up regardless. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Yay, Leah. Oh, you can't hear it? I'm so glad. It's literally right out the window. Like I see the lawnmower guy, like his head is like bobbing. Oh, you can't hear it? That's so awesome. All right. I probably shouldn't mention it then, and everything would be good. But I think that's my problem, is like I'm always like too honest about everything. But I hear that like when you're too honest, like people trust you more. And they also trust people that cuss a lot. Anyway, I probably do both. But okay, so back to this collective mission as a starseed is based on what you're naturally gifted at or good at. You're going to be put into places where you can be of service. For example, one of my besties, Leah, is on here, Leah Lyons, and part of her light work, she loves cats and she loves animals. So she's volunteered at animal shelters. That's her light work. So I'd love for you guys to share. Yeah, I love that, Richard. I swear a lot too. I think it's an Aquarian thing. I'm an Aquarius rising. So, but yeah, feel free to share in the chat. Like, what is your light work? Like, what do you do that you love doing to serve? And then let's talk about our individual mission based on what star nation you come from. Thank you. Based on what star nation you come from, you're gonna have a different individual mission. For example, oh, yay! Yvette's sharing that she loves music and singing and dancing. Nice. Richard is sharing quantum healing, hypnosis therapy from Dolores Cannon. Wow, that's so cool. I've heard some things about Dolores Cannon, but I've never gone like really deep into her work. So I'd love to hear more. And it's just so cool. Like I shared, nobody knows more than anybody else. We've all gone on such different journeys, and we can all learn so much from each other. Yay, I love authenticity so much. Yeah, you've been meditating. Nice. You'll email me. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate that. But yeah, so uh, our individual mission is going to be different. Some of us, like if you're Lyran, for example, you've already done like a ton of work and karmic clearing in other star nations. So yes, opening our hearts, that's our light work for sure. Then your role here might just to be to have fun and just to raise the frequency of the planet. Now, if you're Syrian, like I am, you got a whole list of things to do. And like the Syrians will be on you. They'll be like, you need to do this, this, and this. Like I will tell you about my day. Like if you're you're a Syrian, your day is going to look like having I did an interview with someone, and then I did 3 sessions. And then after I did 3 sessions back to back of galactic readings, then I'm doing this interview. After this interview, I have 3 calls to do. Then I have to take care of my daughter, who's 2, and she's returning from visiting her dad. And then I'm teaching a group fitness class. And then I'm coming home, editing the interview video. And then I'm doing one other galactic channeled reading audio that someone ordered. So just know that as you start to activate your gifts, depending on what star nation you're from, if you're like, hey, I want to be of service, like the galactics will put you to work. They'll put you to work, but it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work to me, because honestly, like, it's one of those things where we don't know what we're capable of until we actually start doing it. And then we'll start surprising ourselves of like, wow, I didn't realize I could channel for 3 hours until today, but like I can channel for 3 hours. And like, and at the same time, going back to today's topic about like dealing with difficult people, if I have all of this responsibility and I'm not taking care of myself and I'm not giving myself self-care, I'm going to be way more likely to be snappy or rude or mean. So we also have to understand that like we're going to be that way. Like just because you wake up, oh, thanks, yeah, definitely it'll be something in the future, but just because you wake up, it doesn't mean that you're going to just act right all the time. You're not. You're going to fuck up a lot. Yeah, I said fuck up. But like you also will love yourself more, and it'll be okay, because you'll learn from every experience. And when we stop looking at things as mistakes and start looking at them as learning experiences and pearls of wisdom, then every experience is just data and we can just keep learning from it. So to kind of wrap up for today, the 3 things for this week that we need to remember is freedom, and we free ourselves by letting go. Perfect trust, that we trust, know that it's already done. If you start to worry about something this week, maybe if like you're focused on money and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay this bill, or what's going to happen, or like, will I hear from this person, or whatever your desire is. What if every time you started worrying, instead you just say, I trust and know it's already done. I trust and know it's already done. It's already done. It just is going to take some time to materialize in the 3rd dimension. But the more that we just believe it's possible, the more that it's going to let it in. Oh, I love your humanity, Yvette, sharing. I was a bit snappy today with coworkers, but it was all good. Yeah, Richard's saying already done. Humanity ascension's already done. Amen. I love that. Yeah, you know what? The thing is, when we can kind of laugh, and like one of the mantras that's been really helpful for me is saying, I am also that. So it's like, yeah, I'm snappy and I'm rude and I get angry and I'm also holy as fuck. And so are you. Like we're literally just alchemizing shadow, and we're both all anytime that we say that like shadow or something evil is outside of us, then we're in trouble. So what if you even started saying like, I am reptilian, I am this, I am that, I am the dark energies, I am the shadow government, and like you started accepting those things. Like it might feel scary to say that, but when you accept it, when you say yes, I am all things and I am still holy, then nobody outside of you has any they have nothing to throw at you, because you're accepting everything, you're embodying everything, and that's where wholeness comes from. It's when we start to believe this illusion that we're separate that we get into trouble. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and so then the last piece is worthiness, is I'm worthy and deserving of my dreams. Yeah, exactly. The pendulum swings both ways. We are evil and we're good. Exactly. Yay! Thank you guys for this conversation. And again, I just want to say that I am no better than anybody else. I do not have all of the answers, and I don't want to have all of the answers. I want to have co-creative experiences with other people, and that's kind of like what we're doing here. Is like we're sort of the first ones that are kind of getting the message message, hey, here's the memo. We don't have to suffer anymore. So the more that we kind of put that energy into consciousness, the more people are going to start to awaken and the more we're going to have fun and co-create together. So it starts with believing that we're worthy. And how do we remember that we're worthy? By remembering that we're one and the same with God consciousness. All of the same qualities of God are within us, and that we're just expressing them in a human form and we're seeing through our own eyes of awareness. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here live. It's just so fun. My subscriptions. What do you mean by that, Charles? I'd love to have you be in my subscriptions. I don't know what subscriptions I have yet, but yay, exactly. But you guys can find me. I'm on TikTok and Instagram, both at official Meagan Mermaid. I believe those links are in my YouTube about page. And if you guys want to book a galactic channeled reading or a personal session with me, you can do that on my website. I'll put it in here, meaganmermaid.com. This is the cool thing about YouTube that you can't do um, on Instagram and TikTok, because I was going live on TikTok a lot for a while, but you can't put things in the chat like links to click on, and it's like super helpful to have links, right? And anyway, I also have a bunch of starseed activation replays. So I've done guided journeys with like the Sirians and the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, and the replays are only like $22. So you can find those. All of the replays are available on my website. There's lots of ways to work with me. I'm super excited. I'm starting 2 new series next week. One is called Conversations with Friends, where I'm interviewing. Yeah, exactly, Richard. I love that. You guys are so helpful in here. Thank you so much. But anyway, so I'm going to be starting one series called Conversations with Friends, where I interview different real people that are doing extraordinary things. Oh, thanks, Monique. And I'm going to start another series with Leah, who should be in the chat. She's my bestie. And she channels the Big Cat Council of Sirius, which is my sister council. So I channel the Mermaids of Sirius. She channels the Big Cat Council of Sirius, Mermaids and Lions. If you want to roll with us, we're starting a podcast on here called Pearls of Wisdom, which I'm going to release next week. So all sorts of really exciting content coming out. And I'm just so honored and grateful to connect with you. And I'm so honored to be in service to humanity. But again, I'm just human. I'm not going to always get it right. So take everything I say and everything everyone else says with a grain of salt. And, just practice that energetic sovereignty this week, because you're worth it and we need you. I love you all so much. Have a great week. Thanks for being here live. Now, how do I turn this off? I'm like, wait a second. I figured it out last time, but okay. I think I figured. No, that's to shut the chat. Oh, end stream. Okay. I'll see you guys next week.